Hey guys, it's Jason here for the Alliance Project. Happy holidays if you're watching this around the holidays. And yeah, I got a couple days off, so I'm going to go ahead and make a couple videos for you, a couple updates. As you see, I got my Star Wars stocking in the back. And I did a little, move my computer. Oh, it's on my living room table. It's kind of like an iMac, but HP version, so it's just all built into the screen, so it's really nice. And here's Maya. Spelled M-A-Y-A, and that's my puppy. And got the Rebel Alliance hat for the Alliance project. And also, something cool here, my bear claw that I made from a bear. It's claw. It's actually a bear from Western Maryland here. I grounded it down and put drilled a hole in it, put a little metal loop through, and I braided a little twine like hemp made it. It's really cool though, I like it. But this video is going to be about some Comet updates and things like that. So let me go ahead and put this on here. Okay, so I'm going to go over, this is from physics.org. We'll go ahead and enlarge the picture if we can. It didn't enlarge, but there you go. I got a nice picture of the comet. It's called Comet 45P. It's the one I was telling you we'll be able to see. It could very well send an EMP our wave or CME or anything, a solar flare, something from the sun. It could definitely make the sun emit something on our plane. And these things, when they go off, I'll try to find a video, are many, many, many times the size of the sun. They dwarf even the sun themselves when they come off. So they've missed us before because of these comets coming by, but this time I want to go over the details to show you a little bit more of why I'm kind of worried for this New Year's Eve comet. All right. Or just read it word for word. Looking for a good binocular comet? Well, if luck is on our side, we should be getting our first looks at a periodic comet, 45P, Honda Marcos Paduskova, at its top's 10th magnitude in the dusk skies over the next few weeks. Comet 45P is expected to reach the maximum brightness around late February 2017. Discovered independently by astronomers Minoru Honda, Antonin Marcos, and Ludmila Prudusakova. I'm sorry about the pronunciations. On December 3rd, 1948. Comet 45P orbits the sun every 5.25 years on a short orbit period. It's set to break binocular at 10th magnitude. When I was talking to you about magnitude in some of the earlier shows, sometimes, obviously not all of these follow every show, but magnitude is not talking about like a vector. It's not talking about scale or velocity or the direction it's going to. They mean magnitude in a level of stars, meaning brightness, the ability to see them with the human eye or not. There's a scale, basically, and once it hits a certain length, you can actually see it with binoculars or your naked eye. And may reach a brightness of +7 magnitude. So what you got to understand is the magnitude chart goes actually reverse. Like the higher the number, the harder it is to see. Currently, through the end of 2016, the comet sits around the center of the Milky Way galaxy in Sagittarius. Right? Remember that. This is one of the omens, I believe, from what we're going to see is these signs in the stars above us. And from every ancient text I could see that they depicted this from, it seems like there's about 7 years of rough luck after that. So maybe the interpretations were wrong. Because if you really look at the global situation right now, you see a collapse in everything. Everything is falling apart. They are falling apart at the seams. I feel like a secret cabal that's had their fingers gripped tightly into everything because of the democracies and the social constructs that we build around everything. They have to give us the illusion of freedom, at least. And there has to be something that remains fair and balanced. That's why Fox News, they say, we're fair and balanced. They spend millions, on a PR campaign to make you convinced that it's fair and balanced when it's not. They're just trying to kind of give that type of mentality like a safe haven, so to speak. They're really, really trying to keep you in the dark there. They're literally spending millions of dollars to convince you that it's fair and balanced. So think about that. When you consider all the things falling apart, like Obama and his birth certificate, and we knew about this for how long now? This has been a thing for how long? And then all of a sudden it comes up right conveniently as Trump gets into the office, right? They have all these supposed trials for war crimes that are getting ready to happen. The list goes on and on. It really seems like that there's a secret cabal being rooted out, if you would, but they don't want, because of the system being so corrupt, but it is the system that we live in, and it is so deep and entwined with the roots of civilization, if you will. Anybody knows that when you're weeding your garden or you're weeding out things, you can't just go ripping away. You have to be careful, because these roots could mend with the roots of the plant you're trying to save, and you uproot it and only end up hurting both of them. So what I think they're doing, honestly, maybe I'm hopeful, but it seems like there's a change going on where they're actually going to put these people to trial. Like there's something like a organization that is like, who knows, maybe it's that galactic council they all speak of, who knows. But I feel like there's something working behind the scenes to root out the evil and slowly change the system to be for the people as intended. I feel like there's something behind the scenes going on, and these people are just scrambling, pulling out all their last cards. Think about the Trump card, right? He's making them very desperate. All this, everything is coming out in the open. There was really a fog on everybody's mind ever since 9/11, and I think that most of us are waking up to the fact that we've been lied to. If you don't think your government could destroy 2 buildings, just look at some of the other countries around the world when they're bombing them to the ground, dropping bombs on children, women's hospitals, whatever. Okay, and then tell me about terrorism. They needed a new enemy to keep the war economy going, so they just painted the Middle East as godless terrorists, and people against the basically godless terrorists versus the free market. And the problem is the free market's never been free. It's a sad thing, but I believe that change is coming for the better, and this will be exposed. They just came out with that updated list of 300, the Council of 300 that leaked out. And if you look at it, it's pretty spooky, but I believe there's a lot of parallels with that. Not to get off subject too much, but just something to think about. If you really, really, really want to look and see what's happening, look at all the hardships and things that were happening. If you believe in the Illuminati, you believe in this and that and the secret cabal, then look at the mistakes they're making. Look at how they're scrambling right now to keep control. Look at how, if they planned this out so much and they had full control, then why are they so desperate? Why are they doing it so blatantly? Why is the rush? Why wouldn't they just do a slow boil, get us all in a vegetative state, where they say, like in the Morpheus says in the Matrix, some people don't want to wake up. They're so dependent on the system that they will fight to defend it. Okay, because they know nothing else. And a lot of people are happy with their luxury cars and their cushy leather couches and all that nice stuff. They might feel like that their slavery isn't slavery. But when did you ever make the conscious choice that you're going to not be a part of the system? You're going to just live off of boiling your own rainwater, or cleaning and filtering your own rainwater, and being one with nature, growing and hunting your own food, and balancing yourself? Or did you say, well, no, I'm going to work 40 hours a week, I'm going to retire after I'm 65 or hopefully sooner, I'm going to pay into Social Security, I'm going to pay taxes all before the money gets to me, I'll pay the taxes, and then I'll pay the taxes as it comes out to, as they basically double tax, triple tax everything, because the item's taxed to get there, it's taxed to move, it's taxed at the money, any money that you get's taxed, and then when you hand out the money again, it's taxed again. It's all bullshit. As I said, when you think about the Federal Reserve System, start it all over, and you want to get the gist of it, you want to take out the complications. I'm the Federal Reserve. I have all the gold. You are a country. You want to make money. You want to make a currency. I say, okay, I'll lend you 1 unit of currency. Okay, that you have 1 unit of currency in your thing, so we'll call it $1. I'm contracting that every dollar that I make for your country, you owe me $1.25. So I make you $1, charge the bill, and you have currency now. Where the balance lies is you have $1 in your country, but you owe me $1.25. So if you want to make that 25 cents, you have to get me to make that 25 cents, where I give you another 25% interest on it. And you're always playing this endless game of, I have 25% more of whatever you have, or whatever you own, I own 25% more. You're that much in debt to me. You're 100% plus a quarter of whatever you have in debt to me. And that is the idea. So now you see how corrupt it is. I mean, now you can see why the Rothschilds and these people say things and then regurgitate them or take them back. They rebuttal. Getting back off subject here, but visibility prospects at its brightest, Comet 45P will be passing through the constellation Hercules during its closest approach on February 11th. The comet then passes through constellations of Coronia Borealis, Boots, Canis Venatici, Ursa Major, and then through Leo in the end of February as it recedes. In the second week of February, the comet is visible in the dawn sky 82 degrees west of the sun at its maximum brightness. This apparition favors the northern hemisphere. The comet will reach perihelion in December 29th, 2016 at 0.53 astronomical units from the sun. The comet passes just at 0.08 AU, 7.4 million miles from the Earth, on February 11th. The comet made a slightly closer pass in 2011. Okay, so here it is. There's its travel time. So in the morning, you're going to be able to, that's like I said, that's daytime. So it's going to be hard to see it at its closest approach. But here in 7 days, a week from today, if you go out, and I believe you look towards Venus, let me look here. Yeah. So here we go. So we're going to just read what I can out of this. Why don't I just give it to you? Why do comets end up with such cumbersome names? Well, comets derive their names from the first 3 discoveries that submit to find within 24-hour period to the Minor Planet Center and Central Bureau of Astronomical Telegrams, which in fact received its last telegram during the discovery of Comet Hale-Bopp around 2 decades ago. Increasingly, comets are receiving names of all sky surveys such as linear and pan-stars from robotic competition against the amateur hunters. It does seem like you need an umlaut or a chemical symbol for boron to in your moniker to qualify these days. I don't get it. Rare is the Comet Smith, but hey, it's still fun to watch science journalists try and spell Icelandic volcano Eyjafjallajökull and Comet Churyumov Gerasimco over and over. Perhaps we should insist that our first comet discovery is actually spelled Comet Dickinson. Comet 45P is just one of the fine binocular comets on the deck for 2017. So, what? It's just one of the comets we'll be able to see with our naked eye next year. We're also expecting, now this is the list, and we'll do an update on these. 41P. 2P. Encke. Encke, huh? Something to think about. Pan-STARRS comet. And yeah, the next great naked eye comet of the century could light up the skies at any time. Binoculars are the best tool to observe bright comets, as they allow us simply to sweep the star field and admire the full beauty of the comet, tails, and all. Keep in mind, a comet will often appear visually fainter than its quoted brightness. This is because the nebulae, the intrinsic magnitude, is smeared out over an extended area. To my eye, a binocular comet looks like a fuzzy, unresolved globular cluster that stubbornly refused to snap into focus. Don't miss your first looks at 45B. Okay, so there's Mercury and Sagittarius. And there's just some reference points for you. And that's going to be, well, that was a couple weeks ago. So, but this is the point we're looking at here. Now, they're showing you the ecliptic plane. Okay. This line here. They're giving you a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional surface, or void, or vacuum, or whatever the accepted word is anymore. I mean, it's been proven that the electrical universe holds physics. Okay, so basically, Einsteinian physics isn't repeatable in a lab, but the electric universe model is. So, by science's definition, the electric universe is scientific. Einsteinian theory is just that theory. But here the point is, this comet comes around, right? But when it approaches, we're right beside it, and it passes the plane of the ecliptic. Like, it is on the same plane as us when it comes through. It shows you like the dip part and everything. Below and above, right? Above, below. This is like on the same plane as us. So it can definitely cause some problems with coming to, when you're talking about the sun and solar mass ejections. This is about the best chart I could find, you guys. Let me get that up here again, sorry. That basically it represents the star, the night sky. Everybody knows where Venus is because a lot of you guys say, oh, there's a new star moving across the sky. I'm not saying you guys, but there's a lot of YouTubers that seem to be convinced Venus is Nibiru, especially the Nibiru channel. He posts about it about every week, and it's Venus, Venus, Venus. He has the comments disabled on everyone about that, but he doesn't have the comments disabled on all of them. Something to think about again, right? So, I know smoking's terrible. I've been cutting back and quitting. Doing really good. I tried the e-cig for a while, but it started to give me like a weird feeling. It did help, but yeah, I'm just gonna cut back a little bit and then quit. You know, it is what it is. So you can yell at me if you want in the comments. But yeah, here it is. So these are the date representations: 20, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 25th. So the 24th, we're right here. Venus is right there. So if you guys get your binoculars out tonight, at sunset, when the sun sets, it will light up Venus. You will not see any other stars in the sky, but you'll see Venus. And It'll probably stay like that for about 15-20 minutes, but then you'll be able to pick it out of the night sky the rest of the night. So go ahead and find that, and then look directly to the left of it. Use this as an actual diagram of where you could overlay it in the night sky if you're interested in watching it, getting us some photos. I know a lot of you guys have some cool tech and awesome things out there that you'd like to share with us, so let's get it out. Also, very interesting article. I'll give you a picture of the comet they took recently. So it's a 5-day-old image. Pretty nifty, huh? And as I said, the tail of it that you see, that is actually just always pointing away from the sun. It doesn't indicate direction at all. Okay, so don't ever get confused with that. The tail of the comet is not debris trailing off of it as it goes that way. It is actually particles being smashed from the sun, basically these invisible energy particles and things that we can't see, that is at the core of all of us, period. These invisible energies, the force, if you will, is hitting this sun, or this from the sun, and that always indicates the direction of the sun. So this thing could be going that way, could be going this way, could be going that way, it could be going the way of the tail. Okay, and very rare does it, probably ever does the tail. No, the tail does never, ever, ever match the way you would expect it to. So hope that helps. I'll close out these real quick. And we're just going to go into it. Oh, I know what it said. NASA says overdue. And then let me look in the past week or so. So, I know I've done things on this before, but it's funny how they, I made a YouTube video on it, put it on the League project, this and that, and then everybody says, the math's off, but it wasn't. As I said, here you go. And this has about 9, maybe 8 a.m. I guess Universal Standard Time will go by on, I believe, the 19th. NASA released this, and I'll go ahead and read it to you. I got an ad trying to pop up here, so sorry about that. A NASA scientist has warned that if a gigantic asteroid heads towards our planet, there's pretty much nothing we can do about it. At the annual meeting of the American Geophysical Union last week, The Guardian reports that Dr. Joseph Knuth, a researcher at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, said the Earth is woefully unprepared for an asteroid strike. We are particularly defenseless if its size is that one of the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. Although rare, not said, dangerous asteroids and other space rocks, they're 50 to 60 million years apart, essentially. But we know that they're, when we did the math, there was about 27 million. And they're giving you half-truths there. They're giving you the rate of occurrence times 2. It is generally believed that the dinosaurs became extinct around 66 million years ago from a 10-kilometer wide asteroid that hit near the Gulf of Mexico. And it said that the Earth had a close encounter with a comet in 1996, again in 2014 when one passed within the cosmic splitting distance of Mars. In that case, we had been unlucky that the asteroid was in fact heading towards us. We probably wouldn't have been enough time to prepare. We have the technology to deflect asteroids of basically any size. Taking an asteroid would probably require 2 space missions. The first mission would send a robotic probe towards the asteroid and knock it off course. The second mission would follow up with to launch a gravity tractor spacecraft to fly alongside the asteroid to nudge it further and further away by using gravitational tug. Such a strategy would probably only work on asteroids up to 400 meters wide. Larger space rocks would require several impacts from probes or attempts to destroy the asteroid with a nuclear bomb. they basically they were letting us know that we're overdue. They're going to just regurgitate this stuff, but I just wanted to show you that when NASA is saying that we're overdue for an extinction level event, is it not time to kind of wake up a little? Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But there's one more thing I wanted to show you. Okay, before we go, we're gonna do something that you like. I'll leave you full eclipse like the moon blocking the sun. Okay. I'd like to show you some images that are pretty nifty. There's a kitty. Okay, so this is a map of the 2017 August. All right, 1 month before the 923 sign in the heavens that we've all went over and depicted and said our 2 cents on and shared our pieces with, and been on the Leak Project. Other people have been on the Leak Project. So all this research is very much apparent through basically the technology that in the past, we'll say 5-6 years, have been accessible to the public for free or cheap or next to nothing. We can look at complex predictions based on solar physics and observation of where and what will be in the sky at what time. Right before this ancient depiction that John got off the island of Patmos and written into the book of Revelation, you can basically see that they were giving us a time marker, an indefinite time marker, because this happens once. It doesn't happen annually. It doesn't happen again. It also lines up with the original feast dates, like I was telling you before about the Feast of Trumpets, meaning the blasting of the trumpets was the literal translation of it. The next holiday that it lands on right after that is the Day of Atonement, maybe something like that. That's what it literally changes to, translates to. And the last one is the Day of Reckoning, maybe the Day of Reckoning and then the Day of Atonement. But those all come right in line with this sign in the sky, and this happens a month before it. Our country is divided in half with a perfect solar eclipse. Very rare. Everybody from the south will see crescent moon with the star in the middle. No, but they'll see partial eclipse. But here where I'm at, I'll see actual full eclipse. Let me steer this thing around. Here's where I was born. I was actually born in a place near Portland, Maine, Camden, Rockport. It's actually called Hope. I believe the hospital is called Hope. Hope, Maine. Somewhere like that. All right, so there I am, I'm right around Cumberland, up here in the high mountains, and I'll be seeing an almost perfect full eclipse. If you guys wanted to ride down anywhere, we'll just go across the globe here. South Carolina will have it perfectly. Parts of Tennessee, a little corner in North Carolina, Kentucky, Georgia, parts of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, parts of Colorado, all of Wyoming, parts of South Dakota, piece of Montana, Idaho, Washington, possibly a corner of Nevada. And there you go. But the point of this is it really does divide us. It takes and like divides our nation in half. On August 21st, 2017, many millions of people across the United States will enjoy nature's grandest show, a total eclipse of the sun. This is a rare opportunity to view the celestial wonder, as nearly everyone at the 48 contiguous states can reach totality within a day's drive. Now, we're going to look at this. Now, look at this. The Great American Eclipse. See how it divides America? Very symbolic, I feel. Another part of the signs, sign of the times, marker, a divine marker, right? Something to think about. Really incredible. And there you go. I believe that that's all. No, we wanted to do, let's do this. We'll do it live. Okay. Now, I want you to pay attention to the shape of this comet. This is the comet 67P. Now, you notice how the shape is, right? Imagine how the comas would be emitting off something like this. I guess they're giving you a depiction of how big it is. That is kind of weird. Creepy face on the side of it. That is this. There is some neat stuff there. Things that look out of place, if you will. But the Borg cube. Yeah, but apparently they've found some interesting stuff here. Now, bear with me for a moment. I'm gonna try to find what I can. But what do you remember about? Let's just type this in, okay? Okay. Give you a little definition. Definition work here. Then when my computer's mirroring everything, it does go a little slow, but. I know what I left out. I left out a word. Rosetta. Just a little history lesson to remember, right? All right, so here's a nice up-close picture of the Rosetta Stone. Okay, it has all these languages on them. We'll go ahead and do a nice view here. It's probably the closest you've ever looked at the Rosetta Stone. As you see, there's the Ankh. I mean, I could probably, just with our knowledge on hieroglyphs and stuff now, I could probably give you a decipherment of what it says, actually, you know. They're very, very straightforward and artistic, but they were reading and writing something to you. And as you get down here, you realize they say the same thing in a different language. And then they go down here, say the same thing in the Greek. So what they did was give us a decipherment. We had the ability to then go from, I guess, maybe Aramaic to the Greek to the Egyptian. So maybe this is Sumerian. Who knows? Okay, so the Rosetta Stone is a grandiorite stele found in 1799, inscribed with a decree issued in Memphis, Egypt, on behalf of King Ptolemy. The decree appears in 3 scripts. The upper text is Egyptian hieroglyphs. The middle portion is Demotic. There you go. That's the one I couldn't tell by looking at. And the lowest is Ancient Greek. The stone represents essentially the same text in all 3 scripts, with some minor differences, provided the key to the modern understanding of Egyptian hieroglyphs. The stone carved in black granite is believed to have originally been displayed in a temple, possibly nearby Sais. It was probably moved during the early Christian or medieval period. And they used it for building Fort Julian near the town of Rosetta in the Nile Delta. It was rediscovered there in July by a soldier in 1799 named Pierre-François Bouchard. The Napoleonic expedition to Egypt. It was the first ancient Egyptian bilingual text recovered in modern times, and it aroused widespread public interest in the potential to decipher the previous untranslated hieroglyphic language. Lithographic copies and plaster casts began circulating around among European museums and scholars. Meanwhile, British troops defeated the French in Egypt in 1801. The original stone came into British possession under the capitulation of Alexandria and was transported to London. It had been on public display in the British Museum almost continuously since 1802, the most visited object in the British Museum. Study decree was already underway when the full translation of the Greek text appeared in 1803. It was 20 years, however, before the transliteration of the Egyptian scripts was announced by Jean-François Champollion in Paris in 1822. It took longer still before scholars were able to read the ancient Egyptian inscriptions literally literature confidently. Sorry. Major advances in the decoding were recognition that the stone offered 3 versions of the same text, 1799, that the demotic text used phonetic characters to spell foreign names. The hieroglyphic text did so as well, and had pervasive similarities to the demotic. And then, in addition to being used for foreign names, phonetic characters were used to spell native Egyptian words. Ever since its rediscovery, the stone's been the focus of nationalist rivalries, including the transfer from French to British possession during the Napoleonic Wars, a long-running dispute over the relative value of young champions' contributions to the settlement, and since 2003, demands the stone returns to Egypt. 2 other fragmentary copies of the same decree were discovered later, and several similar Egyptian bilingual or trilingual inscriptions are now known, including 2 slightly earlier Ptolemaic decrees. Yeah, Ptolemaic. The Rosetta Stone is therefore no longer unique, but is the essential key to modern understanding of ancient Egyptian literature, civilization. Okay, just think about that. We're not going to keep going into it, but we'll show you a possible reconstruction here. Okay, so there's the winged disc above, and we see 11, unless there's a pair. Sometimes they stood side by side as pairs, and I don't see that. Did somebody leave out the 12th on purpose? Something to think about there too, right? But we know that this winged disc had snakes appear off the bottom of it. Snakes always represented energy, consciousness, things like that. They never, or DNA, they basically were showing the transference of energy, a snake, nothing more. So that could be possibly that they were showing you that this thing was flying through the sky, had 2 tails of energy coming off of it. And that's what they were depicting. That's what's hard to find in the books, because when you, all right, 1 second. You can find books like this, like, let me see if I can get it here. Like this. Gods and demons and symbols of ancient Mesopotamia. And it'll give you just about anything in there that you could imagine. It'll sit there and it'll give you, like I said, look it up. It's in there, basically. But when you're going into these depictions, they'll show you, these cult statues, things like that. Let me see if I can get it close enough. And understandings of these symbols. And when you get there to the part about the winged disc or Nibiru, they actually leave out Nibiru. They leave out the center part of the culture. In almost every accepted book, that because they want you to have all this knowledge, but why not just get confused in the knowledge that they're giving you? And basically, yeah. But these things like this, like they'll show you these things. These idols that have eyes, right? Look at that. And that is so weird. My screen is like glowing every color right now, like I'm using the Force to make you guys have like rainbow vision. It's pretty intense. But they'll show you that and then not depict it. They'll show you, like Nimrod and things like that. They'll show you these ancient things. When you get to the winged disc, it's never, ever complete. They never give you, they say it's controversial. They don't say much else. Let me see if I can find in here just to show you. They always talked about 7 dots and 7 gods, right? Then they had 12 gods, and they've really focused on 12. Yeah, right like this, they'll show you the true meaning behind these ancient swastikas and things like that. And ain't that cool how when I get this book close to the computer, it makes like a rainbow? It's wild. But let me pull up the winged disc here. Tower of Babel, all that. It's all here. I mean, they go through the Neo-Babylonian ages to, I mean, everything. They go through it all. But right. Both the origins and the meaning of the winged solar disk are a matter of controversy. Probably its ultimate origins were in Egypt, from where it passed via the Syrians and the Hittites to the Mesopotamia. It first appears with the glyphic art of the Mitannian kingdom and was transmitted to Assyrian and Babylonian art. Taken over by the Archimedean Persians, it remained as an important emblem in Iran until modern times. Often in Assyria, normally an Archimenic art, the figure of a god is shown above the central disk. In Assyria, sometimes with heads of two facing figures, perhaps scorpion people, sat at the end of the wings. The disk in Assyria was a symbol of Samos, though it's a Utu in the Sumerian or Nibiru culture, the Anunnaki, Utu, right? Though it has been attributed by some scholars to Aser in Ninurta, right? That's the same idea. That's Ninurta. The disk is often supported by supernatural creatures, such as a pair of bullman, a pair of scorpion men, or a figure of Lamu, also known as a winged gate. We'll go ahead and look at winged gate. We'll go ahead just to do this, just to show you how they beat around the bush. I want to show you. Bull in winged gate, occurring prominently in cylinder seals in the Akkadian period, is a motif of tripartite rectangular structure that sealed central portion and multiple projections emanating from the upper part, carrying the construction on its back, or perhaps simply lying in front of it, is a recumbent bull. The god or goddess sits in front of the animal. Either deity gestures the beast with raised hands, offers a small bowl, or else holds the animal's horns or the end of the halter fastened on a ring piercing the nostril. Alternatively, in addition, the deity holds a rope fastened to one side of the main construction, while a second rope attached to the other side is held by an attendant. Some modern commenters have regarded the construction as a partly closed doorway, and have thought the projections resembled resembled wings, hence the term winged gate. These projections have alternately been regarded as rays of light, either the morning sun, with the ropes regarded as streams of water, or of the moon, the gate of night, shutting in the moon god in his aspect of the young bull of heaven. Since the bull is also an animal of the storm god, a possible interpretation of the projections might be flashes of lightning. Enlil, Yahweh, the Old Testament god. Zeus. A related theory sees the object as a case of animal sacrifice to a conquering sky god. When the deity is a goddess, the scene has also been explained in the depiction of the myth of Ishtar Inanna, bull of heaven. Probably, however, the scene represents an episode of some myth in the Akkadian period, which is now lost to us. The iconography is very rarely attested after the time may suggest that the myth was no longer current, which would render its chances of recovery extremely slim. What that says to me is bullshit, and they don't want to tell you about it. They don't want to tell you about this key part of iconography that's in almost every depiction they had. No, you guys are just asking, like, what's going on with this? What are we talking about? But you'll see. Okay, so this was the Rosetta mission. I'll go through a quick playthrough of it. They've known about this comet for a while, and they've been topic of a mission. So they spent millions, if not billions of dollars, sent something out there to do the first landing on a moving object like a comet, just like you'd see in Armageddon, Bruce Willis, right? Now watch. I'll go ahead and play the movie. Right, so there it was. So it's just showing you basically the Rosetta mission, but look how, from our Earth's perspective here, let me just go move the interactive model wall. Here's what they got. They did a nice digital scan. Obviously, they're real close to it for a while. And this is what they think it looks like, right? Well, I guess this is the smooth side that the particles usually hit. But I mean, you look at this thing, it's pretty odd, right? So go ahead and pull up some photos. This circle right here was its final landing destination of Philae. That's another word we could probably look up. Okay, so here it is. Here's a nice interactive chart. Shows you whatever. It's like frozen, frigid, cold, cool, tepid, warm, toasty, baking, red hot, baking, toasty. Shows you like basically how warm it is, things like that. Images coming soon, right? Even though it's been months. There you go. There's a nice fresh picture of it. I mean, this stuff's interesting. They knew about this. Why would they name it Rosetta? Why would they name it Rosetta? Why care at all? I mean, I understand science, this, that. But I mean, there's something to this. I'm not crazy. So give me 1 second. Yeah. Now let me share my screen here. Blank. Okay. So let me set up the model. go to realistic. I guess we can leave the sizes a little bit bigger. We'll take off the dwarf planets and major stars. We'll even take the planets' names off for now. I think that'll be better. Now, Comet Encke is the one we were talking about earlier as well, thinking that's an odd name. Oh, let's name it after, these Sumerian gods and just not talk about it. We go September 23rd. And this would be the night sky from Cumberland. Trying to get my sense of direction here. There we go. So, there you go. There's what I was talking to you about. So we got the 12 stars, sun clothing her, Jupiter coming out of her womb, right? The moon. All we were missing was this. And look what it does. It says it comes to devour the child, right? Dragon comes to devour the child. Think about it. This thing's going to have a tail. You're flying. It's going to go close and come away and then go back again. We want to progress it, we can progress it. We're rotating. Okay, so what this all really, when you get to the tie-ins, right? Everything tying together. Right around this time is, to the date, is the 100th anniversary of the Fatima prophecies. It is the 100th anniversary of communism. Now, if we get an EMP blast from this thing, and it takes it and just blasts us, right? The whole daytime side of the Earth is going to be wiped out of electricity and the power grid. The whole other side will have power, electricity, and everything. They'll be fine. Meaning their military, everything will be good to go. So when you consider this, it gets pretty wild when thinking about it all, because really think about it. You have all these anniversaries, right? Like Red Dawn, Red October, all these things. 100th anniversary of communism. Who's to say that it wouldn't be a Red October? Who's to say that, like, when the American side gets wiped out by an EMP and then they take advantage of it? Think about that. It's a lot. There's a lot of things going into play right now. And I feel like the elite are very desperate to keep their power struggle going. But as you see, Jupiter is out of her womb. Everything is just, you want to see something really weird about it. Let me pause this for a second. Woo! Okay. There we go. Boom. We said that it talks about Michael and Satan fighting in the heavens. Well, Mercury, after that point, goes in retrograde twice. Around Saturn. Yeah. See, it goes, and this red line depicts its path. Comes and actually spins, does a loop around it. And you can see Saturn does the same. Does 3 loops through it. 1 loop there. So yeah, it's gonna be like, it's depicting, you know, Michael being Mercury and Saturn being Satan, I'm guessing, is what the translation in that sense of the text was. I don't know, but the signs matched what we see. Wanted to make sure I cleared up everything, had everything, you know, just straightforward on the table for you. Didn't want to leave anything out. Wanted to make it kind of cool and just a neat experience for you guys. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna make a couple other videos here. Keep it up. I'm getting in touch with Rex on the Leak Project. Encourage you guys to check him out, which you already do, but hopefully get on his show maybe this week, maybe this weekend around the holidays, see when we can schedule each other in. Yeah, so haven't heard from Joseph Arena for a little while. He's probably been busy, but I'm going to get a hold of him. Dave Dobbs, he's amazing. If you guys like to have him back, let me know, and I'll reach out to him again. One more thing before we go. I wanted to show off my cool stuff. Isn't that awesome? Oh, I like it. Green may not be your color. Maybe you like red. This one's pretty badass. But yeah, figured I'd show you guys my cool stuff. Hope you enjoy all that, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe. Just be awesome, and yep, do you guys. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you feel in the comments.